reading Stellaluna, and it is by Janelle Cannon. And so in a forest far, far away, there's a bat and her baby, and she's out going to get some fruit so they can eat. And the baby is clutched to her breast while she's flying, and out of nowhere, this big owl comes in and swoops in. And she is trying to get the baby, and the mom is dodging the owl, and Stellaluna falls, and she starts tumbling down into the forest. And she cries out, "Mother, Mother, where are you?" And she doesn't get an answer, and she's just hanging, and she's so tired. And then she finally lets go, and she falls into a nice, big, fluffy nest. And there's 3 baby birds in it. There's Pip, Flap, and Flitter. And they're like, "What was that? That was strange." And Pip was like, "Well, it's hanging by its feet." And they're like, "That's weird." And then Mama Bird comes in, and she gives them some food. And Luna just hides. She doesn't know what to do, but she gets really hungry. And Mama Bird comes in and out all day long feeding her babies. But they eat bugs. Stellaluna doesn't like eating bugs. But she gets so hungry, she finally crawls into the nest. And she gets a big old green grasshopper. Yeah, it's nasty. But she eats it anyways. And then Mama Bird says, "You can stay in the nest, but you have to act like a bird." She's like, "Okay." So she eats the bugs. She stays awake at night, during the day, and she sleeps at night. But she still really likes to hang from her feet. And one day, Mama Bird comes home, and the 3 baby birds and Stellaluna are all hanging from their feet. And Mama Bird's like, "You can't do that. You're teaching my babies bad habits." She's like, "If you're going to stay in the nest, you have to act like a bird." So she does. And then they all start to get too big. And Mama Bird says it's time to learn to fly. And so each one of them takes their time, and they all take off. And Stellaluna's like, "I am like a bird. I can fly too." But then they try to land. And the baby birds land on their feet, and it's so easy for them. But Stellaluna, no. She just basically just hits the branches and falls back down. And so she decides the next day she's going to spend the whole day flying. And they go and fly for hours and hours. And it starts to get dark. And Pip says it's time for them to head home because birds can't see in the dark. But Stellaluna is still too far away. And she keeps flying, and eventually she gets tired. And then she stops, and she realizes that she can't hang by her feet to sleep because she promised Mama Bird. And so she's hanging by her thumbs. And then in the middle of the night, a peculiar creature comes up to her and was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm sleeping." She's like, "Well, you're upside down." Stellaluna is like, "I'm not upside down. You're upside down." They're like, "Well," she's like, "Well, maybe for a bird you're not upside down, but you're a bat, and we sleep upside down." And she's like, "Oh." And all the other bats come crowding around, and they're asking Stellaluna where she's from. And she starts telling her story about how her mother was attacked by an owl. And this other bat walks up, and she's like, I forgot this part. And she asks what her name was, and she gets a big sniff, and she's like, "My name is Stellaluna." And she's like, "I'm your mom." And she's like, "I lived." And she's like, "Oh," and then they hug. And then she's like, "Well, I'm really hungry." So they take her out, and they're like, "Well, we eat fruit. We don't eat bugs." And they go out to a mango tree, and she eats all of the fruit that she can hold. And she's so stuffed. And then she tells her mom that the next day that she wants to go get her 3 bird friends and show them how the bats are. And so she goes out, and she gets them, and she's like, "We hang upside down, and we eat fruit, and we fly at night." And so they take off to fly at night, but birds can't see at night. And so they start to crash, and Stellaluna saves them. And she puts them on a branch, and she hangs upside down from the one above them. And they're talking, and Pip is like, "How can we be so different, but be so alike?" And Flair's like, well, how can we feel so much alike and be so different? And they're like, well, that's why we're friends, because some things just make sense.